Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Chelsea, and today I want to talk about the 10 albums that define my music taste. These are albums that I can just put on, push play, listen all the way through, not skip any songs. These are also songs that or albums that I might bring on a desert island, for example, but these are not in any particular order, so I'm just going to go through them. However, I do want to have a little disclaimer and say that there are some artists on here that might be canceled, Kanye, or maybe should be canceled at this point. And I do not condone their actions. I'm just talking about their music and how it's had an impact on my music in general. So yeah, let's get started. Our first person is Miss Britney Spears. I want to talk about in particular Baby One More Time. Now, she came out at, I think when I was like 11 was when her album came out, and I remember going and her being the first album I ever bought, like ever. She was my intro to pop. She was the first celebrity I remember looking up to and like wanting to sort of emulate or be like. So she kicked off my music taste in general and my music journey up until this point. Next is Miss Christina Aguilera. Now, they came out at the same time, so I might consider them rivals, but I think that Christina holds her own, in particular her Stripped album. When this came out, it was like very sexy and sensual, and she got into a lot of trouble because of her dirty music video. And I just remember watching her and being in awe of how comfortable she was with her body and her sexuality. Also, this album is a really good display from beginning to end of a very wide range of emotions. For example, I'm Not Okay, I think is the song. She was on her back in the recording studio, like crying. You can hear her crying in the beginning of the song because it was so emotional and raw for her. So I just remember listening to this album and feeling like I was looking into her soul in some sort of weird way. But yeah, I absolutely love this album. Next up is Eminem Show. I know that people look at me, they might not assume that I like rap, let alone Eminem, but he was at a point in my life when I was also very angry with just the household I grew up in. I remember listening to him and just feeling a lot less alone. And I really loved how he was just very angry and was very open about that and didn't try to hide it away, because I tend to do that personally. He's also just a really great lyricist. Like, his rhyming ability is out of this world. And whenever I listen to his work, I feel like I'm in the booth with him. It feels like it's very in the moment and it's very personal. Next is John Mayer. Now, I could not pick between Continuum or Battle Studies. They're both very on par for me. But Battle Studies in particular, I just feel like it's a story from beginning to end. I feel like he brings you through a very good narrative, and I feel like his songs are ordered in just a very beautiful way. I remember when the album first came out, I went and bought the CD, I popped it in, and as soon as I hit play, I was like, okay, yeah, instant favorite, instant classic. I love Assassin. That song it just takes me away. I love that song. Okay, and for our controversial pick, this is Kanye West in Life of Pablo. Now, when this album came out, I was in Leeds and I had just gone through a really rough breakup and I was going through a really hard time in my life. And listening to this album really made me feel inspired, just how creative it was and how he put so much work into it. Like, you can just hear like the chorus and the sound mixing along with the lyrics. It just felt like it was very intentional and very highly detailed, which Kanye West does very, very well. I feel like a lot of the songs on the album I could only picture Kanye West doing, so it was all very like unique to him and his sound at the time. Now we are talking about Miss Dua Lipa. I've seen her twice. I saw her at the Paramount Theater and at Ball Arena when she was on tour with Miss Megan Thee Stallion. I've actually seen a lot of these artists live, so I might do a video about that soon. But yeah, Miss Dua Lipa, she's born to be a star. Like, just her look, her sound is very clear, it's very crisp. I also really admire how hardworking she is. Like, when she got a lot of slack about her not so great dancing skills, she worked really hard on that, and she's a much better dancer than she used to be. So I admire that work ethic a lot. And I feel like her voice is so clear that if you listen to her album and then you were to go watch her live, it sounds the exact same. She's just very personable on stage, and she's just really born to be a star. So I could not mention a list without Dua Lipa on it. Next, we have a Miss SZA. Now, I didn't really get into SZA until her Control album. And I like Control more than SOS, if I'm being honest. but I just really love SZA's writing. I feel like her writing is very like piecey and sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, but it's also very poetic. I feel like if there was a song written by SZA next to a song written by another artist, I'd be able to tell that it's SZA's writing. Her writing is just very unique, and I feel like it's very raw, a lot like Olivia Rodrigo in that sense. I feel like they're both angsty in a way, but they're very vulnerable, and some of the things I hear them singing about, I'm like, wow, I feel that exact same way, but I would just like feel too ashamed to say it out loud, you know. So I really admire that bravery that SZA has, and Olivia as well, obviously. Next up, we have Miss Doja Cat. I saw her live. She was my latest concert a few months ago, and I just feel like she's such a creative person. When I first listened to her viral TikTok songs, I was like, wow, like I really want to follow her career. I want to see where she takes things. And I feel like her lyrics are also very, very funny. Like if you watch or listen to some of her one-liners, I just like bust out laughing. I feel like she's just very much herself and very authentic. And I think that's really admirable. And now we're on our last two. First off, I want to talk about The Weeknd and Be Behind the Madness. This album I listened to when I was dating someone at the time, listened to it front to back, and I was just very enthralled with how vibey it was. It was very sexy. He just kind of puts you in a mood. Like I feel very internal when I listen to his work, and I'm like very dreamy. And what's really interesting about The Weeknd is his writing, like a lot of artists write about, is heartbreak, right? But I feel like when I'm listening to his songs, I feel like I'm listening to the process of him turning the heartbreak into art. You know, it's not like really sad or dreary. I feel like it's like a transformation into this beautiful album and these beautiful songs that he creates. I feel like I'm listening to that process as I'm listening to his music, which is very like beautiful and transformative, and I adore. I can't get enough of it. Our last album is Miss Rihanna's Anti. She has not given us an album since this one, which is cool. She's doing her thing, right? But when I listened to this album, I feel like it was very present and it was very in the moment for her. I feel like all the emotions she was feeling was just coming out at that time. I also really like Rihanna's music because she sprinkles in happy and like vibey, dancey along with the heartbreak. And Anti in particular, I just really love the organization of the songs that she's picking, because I feel like I'm going through like a progression or like a journey where it's like very up and down. But she does it in such a beautiful way, and I just really love the beats that she picks as well. Like I feel like she knows what's gonna be a hit, and on that album I feel like every song is a hit. And for the honorable mentions, if you stayed until this point, thank you very much. I'm just gonna mention them, I'm not gonna get too deep into them, but one on my list would be Sarah Bareilles' Little Voice. I love that album, and her voice is underrated, I think. I also love Michael Jackson's Thriller. That's been an integral part in my music taste. And also we have Avril Lavigne's Complicated album. The music that I grew up with, like anyone else, influences the music taste in the future, you know, so I just appreciate the opportunity to share my music taste with you guys. And thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.